the next generation of warfare, psychological warfare. In modern conflict, the mind is a potent weapon. Discover General Michael T. Flynn's groundbreaking guide, A Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. Unlock tactics, strategies, and the mindset to navigate this cognitive battlefield that we all find ourselves in. Equip yourself against manipulation and emerge unscathed. Unleash your potential. Order now.
How's it going, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're watching in the world. The date is January 6, 2026. And I told you, I said there's two shows. I don't know which one I'm going to show today. And they're both so important. And so there's no way I could allow either one of these shows to wait till Thursday or Friday. So you guys are going to get two shows today, here on Tuesday on the AlphaWarrior Show, including we still got DEF CON tonight over there at Badlands at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So this first show, who do I have as a guest? Well, you probably guessed it from the thumbnail. We got Polny, and the conversation that you guys are going to get to enjoy right now is going to blow your mind. I will tell you. Get a notepad down right now. You're going to want to write down some of the dates and these numbers that you see. I mean, you can screenshot the screen as well, but for those of you like me that are old school and have the notepad, you're definitely going to want to write these things down. But there's going to be a part that's going to be relevant. And you guys have heard this executive order, and it's going to play into this one that the later part of the show here. And it's Executive Order 13818. And I don't want you guys to forget it. That's why I'm sharing it right now in my opening monologue. But with that, let's get straight into this. I'm going to run a couple ads real quick to pay some bills, and then we're going to be commercial free during the entire time with Bo. You'll see down scrolling across the bottom of the screen all the information and links to follow him. You're also going to see me talking about this book right here. And I guarantee. So heads up. The link to buy this is going to be down in the description. And I don't get a commission. This is strictly, I think this is phenomenal material. And I want you guys to enjoy it as much as I do. And he just got a new batch in of 1,500. So they're going to start selling out while we're doing the show. And I want my audience to get first dibs because it's a new batch. So you guys get this before everybody else starts to get a Bo on the circuit, and they get ahead of you guys, and you got to wait till the next production, and I don't know when that is. So down in the link below, it'll be the link to Bo's book. And of course, I'm a Marine. I love pictures, and there's plenty of pictures in here. So with that, you guys, I will say, I know sometimes it's hard, when people hear, predictions, but we're not talking predictions, we're talking prophecy. And the math just don't lie, especially when there's a historic accountability to prove that the math don't lie. So if you find yourself in a position where you're like, just watch the show. Watch the whole show. It's only an hour. Watch the whole show. And I think you'll be happy that you did. It's going to be a great one. So with that, you guys, I'll see you on the other end of these commercials. Do me a solid, hit the thumb, hit the heart, like, share, subscribe. The content is free, and leave a comment. And enjoy the flow, folks.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Are you worried about the effects that higher inflation rates will have on your investments? Are you trying to secure your retirement savings against losses, but you notice that inflation is a hot topic these days? But how dangerous are low inflation rates on your retirement savings? An inflation rate of 2% may not seem like much, but it means that prices will just about quintuple over the lifetime of the average American. And 4% average inflation rate means that something that costs $1 when they're born will cost $23 when they die. That demonstrates the danger of even low inflation rates. So when it comes to gold and inflation rates, many investors want to know whether inflation rates have an effect on gold prices. What history indicates is that over the long term, increased inflation should lead to correspondingly higher gold prices. From September 1971 to August 2020, gold grew 7.5 times as much as inflation. Not only can an investment in physical gold help protect your assets against the damage done by inflation, it can also help grow the value of your retirement portfolio over the long term. If you're looking to protect your retirement assets, why wait until stock markets crash and gold begins to rise in price?
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, support the people, support this show. If you're watching on a different platform, you got to run over to Rumble. Down in the description, all the links to our sponsors, partners, and affiliates. Like I told you guys before the show started, amazing returning guests. I'm looking forward to this conversation because I know we're going to get some amazing insight. So with that, let me bring back to the stage, Bo. Thank you for being here with us again. The audience has loved your presence. So being able to have this conversation again is something I look forward to.
Thanks, Alpha. Like I always say, these are biblical times. Everything we're watching, these are not normal times. Okay? It's just like we wake up to Christmas and New Year's. Silver is blowing vertical. With New Year's, you got the day after New Year's, you got Trump in Venezuela. Yeah, this is wild what's happening. And believe it or not, we haven't even seen anything go off yet. It's just about to get exciting. That's the wild part.
And I keep telling everybody, I'm like, I think Trump set the tone, but there is so much more that's going to come. And part of the reason that I understand that is because we're kind of on a limited time frame here. Like our time window kind of forces him. We went from having 4 years, now we have 3 years, and that stuff's going to continue to change. So what do you have for us? What do you want to bring our attention to? Because we're ready.
Yeah. All of this truly it's about Bible prophecy, and it literally is, all glory to God. And the reason I'm saying this is because you got to understand, right now, I don't care who you are, everybody watching your show, we can all agree on one simple thing. Okay. Without an act of God, Trump's not going to win this thing because he doesn't have a long enough term. Like look how much he's done in the past year, and still, you see what I'm saying? And still, he goes into Venezuela and they're saying, that he shouldn't have, there's always an excuse why he shouldn't do something. And the point is, without an act of God, Alpha, Trump would need 100 years to fix this. You know what I'm saying? There's too many things to fix. You're finding out, with Venezuela, they're a proxy for China. Then you got, the voting machines. There's so much, and it's so deep. And it's like the onion, You can keep peeling the onion, and we're only scratching the surface right now. And thank God Trump's in office, because if he wasn't, we'd be finished right now. Okay. This is literally what the podcast is going to be about. It's about January, where I believe we're about to have a moment in time where something happens biblically, And then everything changes from that day forward. And so we've been waiting and waiting for this. There was a Kim Clement prophecy, if they fall in fall. Do you know the day that Trump attacked Venezuela? It was the last day of fall on the Julian calendar.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Kim Clement prophecy was just fulfilled.
Wow.
They began to fall and fall. So why I say this is because Pope Gregory in 1582, you'd go to bed on the 10th, so the 4th, and you wake up on the 14th. So they literally removed 10 days from the calendar. This is very important to understand because it's the messing of the clocks. They screwed with the clocks. And so now we're using a wrong calendar. And why I'm saying that is because right now the Julian, a lot of people out in Europe, they operate by the Julian calendar, a lot of churches. So they have like Christmas on January 7th. Okay, so many Europeans have Christmas on January 7th. Okay, and the reason being is because January 7th is actually the calendar that goes back 2,060 plus years to when Christ walked on the earth. So the calendar we're using right now is like 400 years old. So they twisted the clocks, and so we haven't even seen Christmas yet because Christmas is tomorrow. Wow. The New Year's is 7 days later. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you think this is crazy, we didn't see anything yet, okay? Because wait till we step into New Year's, which is on the 14th. Now, again, will something happen then? I don't know, but I would say the chances are incredibly huge for something about to happen. And this ties in incredibly with millions of deaths around the world, or disappearances would be a better word. Because when you go back and study scripture, right, God at some point has to intervene. Like, look what Sodom and Gomorrah. Hailfire on Sodom and Gomorrah destroys the entire city in one night. Because why? It was no different than what we're watching right now. Full corruption, full evil. Okay, but now we got a global syndicate. This is worldwide. These people are all, they got global handshakes. Okay, and they're all scared as heck of Trump because he knows he's not in the club. So we got Trump, who's anointed by God. People, whether you believe it or not, you're going to find out he is to be here to rebuild America after God intervenes. So God's about to intervene. It's supposed to start here in January. It's going to tie in with millions of people disappearing and people dying also as the casualties. But this ties in with the Great Flood, because what happened at the Great Flood, you got to understand, there were giants on this earth. I know Nino has done a ton of podcasts with that, and I'm sure you probably have as well too. Okay, so you had the Great Flood, and the reason for the Great Flood was because there were giants on the earth that were hundreds of feet tall, and some 10, 20, 30 feet tall, but there's giants all over the earth. So if you want to pop this screen on, this is the flood and Noah's Ark. All right. So the giants of the earth, the flood occurred, and then the family got onto the ark, Shem, Japheth, and Ham, and through the lineage of Ham and his wife, an evil seed still got through, and that tied in with Nimrod and the giant that fought David. Okay, we talked about this on our last podcast, but I'm going to tie this into 2026, because what happened here, this was the death, the physical death of the bodies. Okay, so the actual bodies are destroyed. So there's mass, and there's trees with stumps all over the world. We've seen those, right? Like, it's just incredible that all of this happened, but this was the physical death of the bodies. But what remained? It was the spirit. Okay, the spirit of the Nephilim, which is these evil entities that reside on the earth still. And so, when people say, "Oh, people could be demon possessed,"
right?
You know what that is, right? It's the Nephilim. The spirit resides on earth, but needs a host. So if someone's willing, and these demonic spirits know who these people that are weak, right? So they're like, it's like these people that got beat up on and stuff, So they come up to some of these people and they basically offer them the world. They got the offer that Jesus got in the wilderness: bow down to me, and I'll make you a king on the earth. And what do they do? Right. So now you see like people like, Schiff in office and all these, like, come on, like these people you'd never, like, when you're in high school, you'd never have these people running your high school. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm just so you have these people who are running the political positions, right? Who bow down and were made kings on the earth, and everything that's happened so far, none of them have been taken down. Why? Because they all work together in unison. There's a global handshake. That's why, it's like example 2008. How many years has that been? Not one banker. No one ever goes to jail. To this day, no one's gone to jail. You got Letitia James. The judge throws the case out on Comey and Letitia James. This like everything that that tries to, on the positive, try to stop these people. You wake up in the morning and something else you find out. That they're just throwing the case out. This is the problem. It's so corrupt that you need an act of God. It's so corrupt. It really is. So let's look at this from a perspective of could there be an act of God? And if there could, when could it happen? Okay, so let's look at this from a perspective. This is called the Great Flood. And this is where the bodies were destroyed. So what happened was Noah, they gets an instruction from God to get on the ark. He's on the ark for 7 days, and then the rain starts, the ground breaks open, water starts shooting up from the deep, and God slams the door shut on the ark. They're floating for it's raining for 40 days and 40 nights. The rain stops, but the water keeps rising for 150 days more. And then ultimately the water peaks out. And then they float for another 220 days. They're on the ark for a total of 370 days. Now, go with me here. This is fun. I'm going to go with oil collapsing to negative $38 a barrel. And the Lord revealed a cycle to me years ago and 5 years ago in 2020. So those who watch our podcast, all can confirm this. I was on numerous podcasts saying, watch April 21, 2020. Something biblical is going to happen. Oil collapsed to negative, this is crazy, negative $38 a barrel. Okay, now this is important because God said this ties in with Noah and the ark. So 40 days and 40 nights, George Floyd happens. The next day, Paris, Brazil, all these countries are rioting over George Floyd. No, peace was taken from the earth. And from that point, we had no wars, no rioting. From that day, from George Floyd, the next day, we had rioting around the globe, and wars began, and we had wars ever since. This is fact. Then the water kept rising for 150 days, and watch something happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies at 8 p.m. Supreme Court Justice. Because of that, Roe v. Wade's overturned. I said, watch Roe v. Wade. It's going to be overturned. And when Roe v. Wade's overturned, God is now with America because we were killing creation. And now that God is with us, who can stand against us? Okay. And so this was the cycle of 2020. Now, let's apply this to present day. And why I'm saying this is because this is very interesting how this is all coming together.
Yeah,
it
you got my
ties.
attention. I'm like, what? All right.
So this is really cool because we're talking about, this is about the menorah. Okay. So if this is the miracle of Christmas and the menorah, okay, the menorah, Hanukkah started on the 14th and it went to the 21st. On the 21st was the last day of Hanukkah, which means that if this is a biblical time point and a marker, something should calculate to this exact day to let us know that Babylon, these globalists, are finished and we just don't see it yet, but we're like this close to it going down. So what happened? This is crazy. Okay, so look at the math here. So December 21, if you count backwards from December 21 of this year that just went by, 2-3 weeks ago, December 21 of 2025, if you count backwards, 77 years, 7 months, and 7 days, Israel declares itself a state. May 14th, 1948. Let's get better. From December 21, 2025, if you go back 77 years, 7 months, 707 days, Trump is born. Trump wins the election November 8th, 2016. 3,330 days later is December 21, 2025. If you add another 3 in there, it takes you to Christmas Eve. And the next day, silver exploded, the greatest one-day move of silver ever in the history of silver, marking the beginning of the birth of God's kingdom, meaning silver destroys the bankers. So December 21, based on literally a time window of like literally from Trump birth and Israel declaring itself a state, was all a calculation to December 21, 2025. So the calculations take us to so we're looking at December 24th, 2024 through the 25th as a majorly important time point. Now, why we want to look at this is because of what Pope Gregory did and the clocks. You go to bed on the 5th, you wake up on the 14th. As of today, it's 13 days behind, which means that let's apply this calendar to present day. Here you go. Everybody look really close here because this is fun. I'm going to zoom in here. When you look at the calendar, actually, here first. January 7th would be tomorrow. The day Noah gets on the ark, which is Christmas Day. And silver, as we speak right now, is the marker. It's at over $80. I think it's $81 right now as we speak. This is interesting. The Lord revealed to me. So on April 21, so 5 years later, we have April 21, oil collapses to negative $38 a barrel. To the exact day, 5 years later, the Pope dies. Klaus Schwab resigns on April 21, 2025. Both at 88. Okay. Now, it's interesting when you go watch Back to the Future and he jumped into the future. What was the speed that he jumped into the future at?
88 miles per hour.
Silver going through 88 is basically what we're witnessing. The car was silver. It's going to blow through 88 potentially this week, if not next, and it's going to go straight to $100+. This will mark the collapse of the financial system that they have been using to control us. So here are some key dates. If you look at tomorrow on the green here is a Julian calendar. So today being the 6th, tomorrow is the 7th. On the Julian calendar, it's Christmas Day. Noah steps on the ark. 7 days later, the rain starts. The waters break open from the deep. God slams the door shut on Noah's ark. And all hell breaks loose. That's the 14th of January, but it's the 1st of January, 2026 on the Julian, the real calendar. So the 14th is actually the start of the new year.
That's very interesting. And because January 15th is a significant date for me. I'll tell you a little bit more offline. So I'm just doing the math, and the math is freaking me out because this is the wild part. So when you start looking at this, it rains for 40 days. But what happened? This is important. When the door shut on the ark, those in the ark are safe. But everybody on the outside is getting destroyed by the rain and the floods, and they're ultimately killed. So if there's a time point where there's going to be mass deaths on this earth, it starts the 15th onwards. 14th onwards. So real quick, Bo, I'll share part of why the January 15th is significant for me. I'll just share it. Because part of it people know from my story. January 15th, 2021 is the day that the FBI raided my home regarding January 6th.
Oh.
So, when I see this, it's like this is the chaos that was kind of put upon my family. What was significant is January 15th is also the day that my son was born. 2008, many years ago. And and his, we call him JJ. His name's Joshua Jacob. It felt appropriate to give him that name. So the 15th is significant for me in a very great way, the miracle of life. And it's also a very tragic day for me because that's the day that my life was turned upside down by a tyrannical government.
Right. And then 5 years go by for you.
And I'm free.
And you're free and we're about to be on the other side.
Wow, this stuff is wild. This stuff is just.
No, you want this is where the wild this is fun because this is not possible unless it's by divine design. You know, like God wrote the end from the beginning. That's why this is so fun to do because it's not possible. The math on this. Okay, you'll see why in 4 minutes. Okay, so you've got 40 days and 40 nights, which literally takes us to February 23rd into the 24th. So basically, I would expect an incredible amount of casualties and deaths on this earth in this time frame. I don't know what to tell you except something's got to change. But in this 40 days, there's going to be one day which is going to be just pandemonium. Okay, and that day, to be honest with you, I'll give you the day on that, and this ties in with Exodus. Okay. So the Exodus, the angel of death shows up. Israel departs with the gold and silver. Get it? So angel of death, Israel departs with the gold and silver, wealthy. What's silver doing right now?
Launching.
Okay. When silver goes through 100, through 88, the bankers are taken out. We step into the future. Okay. This could happen this week. So we leave Egypt with the gold and silver. Because $140 is damages. A thief pays damages sevenfold. 7 times 20 is 140. So the thief pays damages for what they did, for years of control and manipulation. That's damages. And then Israel goes and walks to the Red Sea, but it takes them 10 days to get there. God parts the sea on the 10th day and closes it on Pharaoh and destroys Pharaoh on the 10th day. So if you add 10 days to January 14th, what do you got?
24th.
Now, give me the numbers. 1, 2, 4. Do it backwards. 4, 2, 1.
Oh,
which is 9 months from the death of the Pope. Birth. And then this even gets better yet. Now, when you look at this, so the 24th is 10 days later, which is 1, 2, 4, which just happens to be 9 months and 3 days from the death of the Pope. So 9 months is birth. It's also 124 days, 124 days from Rosh Hashanah of last year to the exact day. And it's the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit on the Julian calendar. It's 111.
This is. I'm going to look for a post as you continue on my show last night, Bo. There was a certain drop that came. You know, I do talk about the cue boards, but I do it in a very different context than a lot of people do. And in there was a correlation between a post that I think it was either Trump or the White House account had posted, and it was 10 days. And so I told everybody last night, you know, 10 days is, but it also had mentioned the EU. But I'm going to see if I can go find it while you're looking for this real quick.
Yeah. So
this is just fascinating.
Right. So in other words, so let's look at from biblical perspective. Now, I'm just doing my best and what I believe the Lord's showing me, and I want to share with you and your viewers. But so Christmas Day, let's look at this again one more time here. So we're going to show this one more time in a close picture here, just so we can look at this together. So from a perspective, Noah enters the ark on the 7th, but the rain starts, the ground breaks open, the flood waters shoot from the deep. God slams the door shut, Genesis 7, 11 through 16, and that would be January 14th, which is New Year's Day, the real New Year's Day. This is the New Year's Day, goes back 2,060 plus years when Christ walked on the earth. The Gregorian calendar is ridiculous because basically that's a lie. They twisted the clocks. Now, if you were the devil and you wanted to have everybody miss appointments, what would you do? It's in Scripture. Change the clocks, right? If you and I have an interview and someone on your side or my side changes our clock, I'm going to be an hour late, an hour early, or whatever. I'll miss the interview because the clocks were changed. So what's the smartest? And it actually says in Scripture, the clocks. The devil will mess with the clocks. He'll try to change the times and the seasons so you don't know what's going on and who's showing up, who's not showing up. Right? It's all about deception. So. Is January 14th is you might think January 14th, we all think January 14th, but no, on the real calendar, the Julian, which goes back 2,060 years, is New Year's Day. And so this could tie in with an angel of death moment start. So this would tie in with a groundbreaking, the rain starting, and the angel of death, which ties to Exodus. And so this is both Moses and Noah, all pointing to January 14th-ish. And then if we run the clock specifically, we run the clock tying in directly with the Great Flood. Well, the Great Flood, you've got 40 days and 40 nights. But when you tie it in with the Red Sea miracle, it wasn't 40 days. It was 10 days to get to the Red Sea. So 10 days from the middle of January is the 24th. So January 14th, add 10 days, 24th, which is coincidentally the exact opposite of 421, death of the Pope, 124. And God revealed a long time ago, the 421 cycle is the death cycle. And the 124 is the life cycle, is the birth. So which means in between, you should have maybe 9 months. Oh, it's 9 months and 3 days. So I'm just saying, I'm looking at this and we're watching silver. Silver is the marker because the prophecy was silver would go through $50 in the year of Jubilee. Now, let me explain to everybody what a year of Jubilee is. It's a year of the Lord's favor. Okay. It's written in Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61 states the year of the Lord's favor, comma, and the day of vengeance of our God. Okay, so if there's a year, when did it start? Well, the mathematics, I've done this show in your show in the past and numerous shows. I'll just give you the answer. The year of Jubilee started on the 4th of July, 2025. That was the start of the year of Jubilee. Now, which means that it doesn't end until the 4th of July, 2026. Oh, what a coincidence that it's America's 250th birthday. But this is the crazy part. Remember I said Christmas 2025 marked the start of their collapse? Remember, Christmas we all perceive December 25 marks the start of their collapse. So something should have happened. Yeah, silver exploded, the greatest one-day move, $7 or $8 vertical in a single day. Never happened before. The greatest, so that marked, remember, silver is God's money, so God's marking the start of his birth. You got to look at this from that perspective, right? Because the Federal Reserve System is a devil's money they create out of thin air. God's money is silver and gold. And if you see the greatest move in vertical in one single day, that God's something starting would be a good way to use, a starting point, okay? So from Christmas Day, when silver exploded, let's go forward in time. We're going to go forward 5 months, 5 weeks, and 5 days. 4th of July, 2026.
250.
From Christmas Day to the exact day. So somewhere in this 555 window is going to be what's called the Day of Vengeance. So a Day of Vengeance is we're in a 24-hour window. God shows up. Here's the scripture right here, Isaiah 61. The year of the Lord's favor started July 4th. It ends July 4th, 2026. And in that time frame, somewhere in the 555 sequence, we're going to have a Day of Vengeance. Most likely, it'll be right up front. So God's expected, we would expect probably God to intervene. Why? Because, well, like I said earlier, God is with us. We overturned Roe v. Wade. If God is with us, who can stand against us? Nobody, right? So all we're waiting for is a move of God, because I'm telling you, without a move of God, Trump can't fix this. I just want everybody to let that sink in. As great as a president as Trump is, there's nobody like Trump. Nobody as amazing as he is for everything he's done so far. And yet He's this January 20th, he's 1 year into this. And, he's still fighting a massive battle. He's got opposition on every front. So now let's apply this cycle here of the Great Flood. Because what's about to be removed is, remember, the bodies of the Nephilim are dead. The spirits reside and they occupy. They're the watchers. They occupy. So when people are like psychics, yeah, because this demonic spirits are occupying people. They're the watchers. They've been watching you, so they know about you. Okay, so these demonic spirits are on this earth, and God's about to bring the glory on the earth. And in a single day, it's Psalms 37, 10 through 13. In a little while, the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. So in other words, there's no bodies. Though you look for them, they will not be found. This is in Psalms 37. The meek, meaning us, will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. There's your wealth transfer, and all the wars come to an end. All in Psalms 37, 10 through 13. The only way that's going to happen is an act of God. Now, why this is wild, because remember, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The rain stops, and then the water. So something's going to happen here on February 23rd, 24th. I don't know. Expect something. It's just like this. This marked this when George Floyd died. So that was a marker. So something should happen here the 24th-ish, 23rd, 24th. And the water kept rising. The water then kept rising because the rain stopped. The water kept rising for 150 days. That takes you to June 14th, 2025. Oh, what a coincidence. Trump turns 80. To the exact day. Then they're floating, the ark's floating on the water that's at max height, and the water is slowly receding for 220 days. And finally they hit land, and then they disembark with a rainbow off of the ark at the end of 220 days, making it a total of 370 days. So from January 14th on the Gregorian, which will be January 1, but New Year's Day, but Gregorian, January 14th, this year, January 14th, 370 days, can't make this up, is January 20th, 2027, 2 years to the exact day Trump spoke golden age, he got inaugurated, 2 years to the exact day. Trump's exact middle of his presidency from this January 14th. So we step off the ark, January 20th, rainbows a-glowing, 2027, a year. We're protected for a year while God eliminates, wipes out the demonic entities of this earth. The ones that are left go into hiding because he's not removing all of them. He's only removed the Nephilim spirits. So the spirit of Antichrist, Jezebel spirit, they all freak out because when the glory's on the earth, when Christ walked on the earth, the devils freaked out. They couldn't handle it, right? So they ran for safety. The same is what happened. They're all going to go into hiding. They're going to reemerge in the future. But we're stepping into the greatest time point in human history. It's supposed to start on the middle of January, 14th, 15th. 1 year of just, well, actually 40 days of this massive destruction. Then right after that is Purim, which is hangman, the Esther, right? So God's going to, we might see military tribunals somewhere around in March because God would have taken care of business. We could probably see military tribunals in March. And then that steps us into everything's finished and complete. We have the golden rainbow. January 20th, 2027, fulfilling the Kim Clement prophecy that states this, two of them. When being Kim Clement, he's saying this, I'm standing in the year 2027 beyond the veil of limitations. No limitations. Free energy, technology unleashed the craziest things have been hidden from us. We're seeing it as of January 20th onwards. And then the second prophecy was the Esther prophecy, which everybody got wrong because it said in the middle of the presidency. What's the middle of the presidency? January 20th, 2027, an Esther will arise to heal a nation. I'll finish on this. The last thing we need, Alpha, is healing right now. We need God to show up, bring vengeance on this earth, change the course of history, and then 1 year later, after we step off the ark, in other words, we step into a new world, a time point where the earth is going to be looking for healing. And that fulfills perfectly the Kim Clement prophecy, the Esther prophecy, and also the 2027 prophecy, and calculations to the exact day using the Great Flood to this January 14th to the exact day, which is New Year's Day, Julian calendar. And we have confirmation on this so beautifully with what silver's doing right now, because as we speak, last I checked, silver was at like $81. So I'm not sure where it's at right now. It's going up more. So all it has to do is bust through $88. Death of the Pope, 88. Klaus Schwab resigns, 88. And hey, let's throw in Back to the Future, silver car at 88 while we're at it, right? But all I know, why did the Pope die at 88 and why was Klaus Schwab 88 years old? That I find very interesting. And silver, as we speak right now, this is, we're speaking on the 6th of January, and silver's price right now is $81.25. It's up almost $5. It's like it's less than $7 away from 88. So I believe we could touch 88 or go through 85 or 88 tomorrow. They'll try to bring it down because they're freaking out. And then if I had to guess on this, before Friday, so probably this Thursday, we could. If not, we'll do next. It's going to happen in January. But if I just have some fun with everybody, this Thursday, we could literally see silver 3 digits. Which is, remember, because when silver went vertical on Christmas Day, this is the interesting part. You say, how does it take out the bankers? Well, because when silver went vertical on Christmas Day, it went from $71 to $84. It closed up $7.50. That caused the bankers to be negative. I think it was 14 or $17 billion in a single day. So if it went from the 70s or the 80s to like 100 and change, that's over $100 billion in a single day. That'll wipe out several banks.
It'd be
JP Morgan's going to go net long because they've been accumulating silver. So everybody, but this is where prophecy, this is the beautiful part about prophecy, because I love this one here. It says, because JP Morgan right now has like 130 something million ounces of silver, something crazy, but they have one of the largest stashes of silver. So they think, they're all high and mighty, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just, the banks are, pride and arrogance, right? And this is where God shows up. So so JP Morgan is going to go net long as silver explodes. The other banks that have commercial shorts on them will be wiped out, will be bankrupt. JP Morgan's going to be the winner on this, and then God. And here's the prophecy. It says, to the person who pleases God, he gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. This is why, there's no bad news, because the scripture tells us, to the person who pleases God, he gives us wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinners, to the JP Morgans, he gives them the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand over to the people who please God. So the prophecy is beautiful that JP Morgan and all the banks will lose every single ounce of silver they have. Why? And America will have it. Trump will, because Trump's in office to rebuild America, and the laws that they wrote to come after us, Trump is going to use those same exact laws to come after them.
I can
And there'll
absolutely see that happening.
And there will be nobody to stop them because God had intervened. See, so when you have a 24-hour window where God intervenes and he removes the Nephilim spirit, the demonic people that are blocking, like, it's like Trump files indictments against Letitia James and Comey. The next day or 48 hours later, what happens? The judge dismisses the case, right? But in this case, when God intervenes, all the corrupt judges, all the crooked officials are gone. So what happens is, in that year of Jubilee, it's a year of rest, because you know who's doing the work in the year of Jubilee? God. And so it's like if you were a hurdler in school, if you watch hurdles, okay, you run 100 meters, but there's hurdles every like 10 meters, right? And so that's what life is right now. It's like Trump runs, got to jump a hurdle, runs, got to jump a hurdle. So when God intervenes, he wipes out all the hurdles. And all it is this beautiful track with a gorgeous sun rising on the other side. And there's no opposition. There's no bumps. There's no speed bumps. It's clear sailing for the next 12 months, starting January onwards, for Trump to clean house, to take care of business. First, God's going to intervene, and then whatever is left, Trump then takes, because we're in the arc for up to January 20th of next year, Trump just cleans house. And so when we step into 2027, America's clean. America's finished. And also the prophet, and remember, we have the midterm elections in 2026 November. Okay? But by that time, we're going to be the greatest, most accurate electronic voting in the world. Everything would have been exploded because evil would have been removed. And the prophecy is this November 2026 will be the most accurate, the greatest election America's ever had. Why? Because God showed up. See, all of this is about a God moment and his anointed David being in office to clean house. And remember, and then after remember, David is the one that killed Goliath. Who's Goliath? The globalists. Get it? Trump is killing the globalists, the Goliaths of this world. It's a type and shadow of King David. And then after Trump's presidency, after King David, who showed up? His son, to build the temple with immense finances. Get it? So his son, whether it's Junior, whether it's Eric, or it could be, I brought him not his youngest son. So but it'll be another Trump that comes in, and it'll be not David. It can't be David because David's got blood on his hands, right? So it'll be one of the sons who ends up rebuilding America. His son will be Solomon. There was no war, and there was immense prosperity after David.
To the slide that's on the screen, as you were reading that in that transfer of wealth, and people are like, well, how would he legally do that? Executive order 13818, blocking the property of persons and entities involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. If this could be one of the pathways, if we find out, or if Trump and his DOJ finds out that JP Morgan is somehow involved in human rights violations, like we've seen some of these.
And you know that's been going on forever, right? And because remember the demonic stuff, it's all about blood and child sacrifice and blood, right? It's all about blood, right? And so this has been going on for generations. It's been going on. This is like disgusting. And remember, no one, like Epstein stuff, right? The reason Epstein's not out just yet, because God. So here's the answer why Epstein stuff's not out yet, because God said through Carolyn, the prophet, this is very important. If Epstein came out right now, they would immediately squash it, because there's too many people connected right now, and they would immediately squash it, and they because they will. So if all the truths came out before God intervened, they would squash it, and it wouldn't do the damage that it's supposed to do. Because this is going to cause worldwide damage, fall of kings, fall of kingdoms, fall of presidents, fall of nations. That's what Epstein's files are going to do. So it has to happen after January 14th. It has to happen after an act of God, if it is the 14th. If not, it's maybe after those 40 days. But it'll happen after the act of God. Remember, when the act of God happens, let me just say this. No one's going to miss it. Okay, why? Because the prophecy is very simple. It's when God intervenes, here's the key words. 9/11 on steroids worldwide. Which means 8 billion people will witness it. No one's going to miss it. Okay, so, hey, has it happened yet? Okay, when 8 billion people see a 9/11 on steroids worldwide, you know God intervened, okay? And then from that day onwards, you're going to see the Epstein stuff come out. You're going to see the military tribunals, because basically the racetrack, all the hurdles are gone. And all it is clear sailing for Trump. There's nobody in his way. And man, you know, when there's no one his way, oh, does he work fast.
What a time to be alive. Oh my goodness. I was already motivated, Bo. Before we started the show, I was already pumped up. But now, you know, looking at you do such a great job of presenting this information and making it make sense, showing the context of biblical history and prophecy and how it applies to what we're living right now. And I think that's so important, because I think a lot of people have information, but they don't have the tongue to communicate it. And God truly has blessed you with the gift to do that. And I'm grateful. I know my audience is grateful. I want to show something, because this is absolutely a phenomenal book. Especially if you're someone like me that likes pictures. You got a lot of that stuff. If you go, well, actually, you said if you go through there, the 4th of July is in the book. It's in chapter 12, and then it has a year that takes it to next 4th of July, which is the 250 years. And literally, this clock that I'm showing you, I give a little piece of it. You can count the cycles into next decade. I'm sure you've looked at it, and you can actually look when the Antichrist system returns. It's in the book. So everything I went through with you today, it was just a little sliver of years forward yet. So I just did the one, like, this year, basically, how this year of Jubilee ties in to the end of this decade and then the next decade. But the prophecy is very, very specific. When God intervenes, we step into the greatest time point in human history. All wars come to an end. Immense prosperity for the church, immense prosperity. And we step into, because we're in grace through Christ right now, we step into what's called, the song Amazing Grace? We step into amazing grace. And the second prophecy is we step into the glory era. So the glory is what fell on the apostles, and they started raising people from the dead. So the glory, the latter house, will be greater than that. Because it says, Haggai 2:9, it says, the latter temple, the latter house, will be greater than the former. So the latter house, which is about to be born here in January, that's the crazy part. This is about to be born in our lifetime this month, will be greater than that of the apostles who were raising people from the dead. So when the glory falls on the earth, the church gets filled with it. And you're going to start seeing healings of people's arms growing back, legs growing back, people walking out of wheelchairs. And yes, the dead will be raised in time. This is all a part of the glory. And I know what I'm saying is like out there, okay? But everybody thought that the apostles were out there when they were raising people from the dead. But when God intervenes, he has to do something specific here, Alpha, okay? And I think we can agree on this. We can look at the Billy Graham revival. It went worldwide. Wasn't it awesome? And yet we're still here today. There is one thing that was, as great as that revival was worldwide, there is one thing that was missing. People would go to that revival and they would give themselves to Jesus. They would acknowledge Jesus as their Lord and Savior. How awesome is that? Okay. However, no one there walked out of
was in a wheelchair and then left the wheelchair and left the conference. There were no miracles. It was a revival for Christ. When the glory comes upon the earth, we're going to go to events, and these events, the glory is going to fall in that event, and everybody in the stadium is going to be healed. Let that sink in. And then the people who got phones, they're going to be recording it. They're like, I want some of that. Like, wouldn't you, right? Like, everybody's got something, right? That's messed up with them, right? Everybody's got something. So they go to the next revival, but there was 10,000, there was 5,000 at that event. It was, or 1,000 at that event, a small event. And then the next one's got 50,000 because a few people recorded the miracles. It went viral across the internet. And the next event doesn't have 1,000. It's got 20,000, 30,000. So the prophecy is stadiums will be filled with the glory. Why? Because this is fulfilling scripture. It's not opinion. It says, my glory shall fill the earth. The name of Christ will go across the four corners of the earth before I return. And it also ties in with a multi-billion soul harvest, because right now, as much as we know Christ, we haven't seen miracles that blow our mind. Okay? When you see something like that, you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is a God, he is real, and you're going to tell every single person you know about what your God can do, and that's how you lead 1 billion people to Christ. You see, right now the devil controls the earth, and this is it's not about money, because God's got infinite money. He doesn't care about the money. He wants souls, and the devil, the only way he can piss off God is take as many people to hell with him as possible. So he's the deceiver. Right? So when Christ shows up with signs, miracles, and wonders, you cannot deny a miracle if you see it with your own eyes. But you can willingly say you didn't see it. And that's why, at the end of this revival, there's going to be two sides of the fence. Choose this day whom you will serve, because God will have showed himself with the miraculous. And if you literally saw a person rise from the dead, or an arm grow back, a leg grow, and you still deny the miracle, then you're more than welcome to go hang out with Satan for all eternity, because that'll be God's position. Because I showed myself to you. I gave you miracles. I exposed how mighty and loving I am, and you still rejected me. And that's ultimately, that's what where majority of the world now sits on the fence, Alpha. And when God's done here the next 3.5 years, man, there's going to be nobody on that fence. And there's going to be a multi-billion soul revival happening around the world. And peace and safety. And yeah, there's going to be still some of the scoffers, but it's going to be some of the scoffers. Because some people just willingly, choose evil. But the grand side of things is this is a multi-billion soul. This is what's been prophesied in scriptures. You always heard the harvest, the harvest, the harvest. This is it. This is it. This is the harvest. The Kim Clement prophecy says, and winter says, I will make you happy. So we're about to see the explosion of a lifetime. God intervene. The clock is ticking for it to go down here in January. The date happens, doesn't matter. The 14th is again, interestingly, very important. The 124 is very interesting as well, too. We wait and watch, but I know that without an act of God, Trump can't do this. Trump, as bright and as smart he is, he's there to rebuild after the act of God. And man, he is a good builder. Trump is really smart and really good at rebuilding from the damages. And when Babylon comes down, he's going to rebuild a new financial system backed by gold and silver. So JP Morgan loses all their money. Guess who gets it? The Treasury, the United States Treasury, to back the U.S. dollar from the Treasury, not the Federal Reserve System, which is a fraud. We're going to still have the Federal Reserve money. Everyone's going to consider it trash money. No one's going to want it. And the world will all want the U.S. Treasury note backed by America's might, America's military, America's Trump presidency, and the strongest dollar in the world, because Trump rebuilt America. and it now will be one nation founded under God. And that's why this 250th anniversary is so historic, because truly it'll be out. It's 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 days from Christmas, but it literally is a time point where God will have intervened. We would have gone through the 40 days. We would have passed 150 days at peak height on the water. It's finished. And by the 4th of July, 2 weeks later, 10 days later, the greatest 4th of July the world has ever seen. The timing is impeccable. All we can do right now is wait and watch.
Before we go, Bo, I want to make sure to say this, and I want to give you opportunity to let people know where to find your material, and especially get this book. When we've all witnessed what President Trump has gone through, they've tried to kill him twice, formally. Who knows how many times that they haven't told us about, but at least publicly, they've acknowledged those 2 times. We all, either live or through recording, saw a bullet hit this man's ear, literally, a thumb away from taking his life. And we know divine intervention was involved in that. He knows all these people that you just described that he's taking on, Goliath, right? He's taking on the Goliath.
Like, this is nuts. Think about it. He's taken on the entire globe of hundreds of years of people planning this. He's taken them all on. Go ahead, continue. This is crazy what we're watching.
And yet when you watch him, he walks and he has a presence of someone who's absolutely confident in what's coming. And the only way you can have that level of confidence when you're literally fighting the devil. Like, he's the man fighting the devil. The only way you have that level of confidence and that demeanor is if you have the presence of God in you.
Yeah, he's got warrior angels all over him. Remember, God knows before what's going to happen, right? So he's got angels, warrior angels all around him. And anything that even can come close, they're already on it. So he is so protected that they can't touch him. And he has taken on a worldwide syndicate, and nobody can touch this guy. Come on. What we're witnessing is the Bible unfolding in front of your eyes. And then the math that literally from this January 14th, was it this January, or the Christmas day, whatever I said earlier, from the 21st to the last day of the menorah, 77 years, 7 months, 707 days Trump is born. And on the same exact day, Israel declared a state, 77 years, 7 months, and 7 days. This is not possible. He was born to be here today, and he was born for this January 14th, I believe. Or this January, let's leave it at that. He was born for this January as December ended. The math is just off the charts. And I've shown it.
And I'm telling you, he knows, he sees, he understands that the hand of God's on his shoulder, and that's what's going for us. And even when you watch, he did an interview. This was a while back. It's what's his Leo Vaughn, I think is his Theo Vaughn. And he has a history, background of addiction to drugs. Seems like a very cool guy, very funny. And Trump does this interview with him, and he's literally talking about, he's talking to Trump like most people don't talk to Trump, like, homie, man, right? And Trump never shifts a facial expression. It doesn't bother him, because this guy's talking to him the way he would talk to anybody. He sees him as a human peer. Yeah. But he's talking about his use of cocaine. And Trump, who's very honest in this conversation, Bo, never, ever speaks to him in a way that's passing judgment or I'm better than you. It's more of an inquiry and an understanding. And as I listen to that, it's the presence of a man that just has God in his heart. It's there. And that's what gives me so much confidence in where things are going. Because if that's the guy that God said, I ain't letting the most evil, tyrannical, globalist Satan army hurt him, and that's who I'm sided with, I'm good. I'm good. And then I get Bo come on here and drop down all the math for us. It makes me more good. So I just fight even harder, because I'm just like, if God's for us, then who do I got to be afraid of?
Who can stand against us? This is go time. This is go time we're sitting at right here. And, we're about to see something historic go down. God's about to, this is going to be a move of God because God has spoken through his prophets. I'll leave it at this. He's spoken through his prophets. His word will not come back void, means he doesn't lie. So he's spoken through his prophets. He said what he's going to do. And now he's going to do it, period. And if every single prophecy will be fulfilled.
What a time to be alive. Folks, I'm not lying. This book is absolutely beautiful and informative. And I hope that you guys go and get it. So, Bo, if somebody wants this, where can they go?
On my website, Gold 2020 Forecast. And you can, when you see the book there, click it. And then when you go to a checkout, put the code in 777. And you get a 20% discount. Or you can also just go to Amazon. I believe Amazon's even got a discount on it at 20% right now as well, too. So just put my name in on Amazon, and they've got it, too. So either way, you can get it. We ran out of books into Christmas. We knew it was going to happen because they've been selling like crazy. So we just ordered another 1,500, I think it was, and they just hit like 2 weeks ago. So we've got another batch right now. So it's all good.
You better get on it, folks. I'm telling you, you put this thing on your coffee table, and it is going to be a hit because people don't want to put it down. They just want to,
and especially chapter 12. Chapter 12. The Lord revealed me the calculations for this decade and basically next decade, and those are wild.
There you go. You guys have seen it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Those some of the links and the X, formerly Twitter handle to follow Bo. Bo, God bless you, sir.
Actually, I want to say this too. May God bless you, Alpha, and your family. You are a warrior for the truth. You've stood, you've taken the shots, and you've been into the military. And we truly appreciate everything that you've done. For America, and I appreciate you. It's like you just don't back down. You know the truth. When you know the truth will set you free. You haven't backed down. You continue to do podcasts, speak truth, and let me just say this: the Lord has seen everything that you have done, and you will be immensely blessed for what you have been doing. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, 100%. Bo, I appreciate it. I look forward to the next conversation. Hopefully sooner than later, because I know a lot's gonna unfold. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, links down in the description. If you're watching on a different platform and you just want to grab the link, come over to Rumble, and like I said, down in the description of Rumble, you'll have all the links to find Bo and to buy the book. So that, you guys, good night, God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolis versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so